morning, good afternoon, good evening. Zimbabwe's political leaders, they are like bullies. I think many of us had some experience of being bullied. You'll find a bully stepping on your toes, crushing them. The physical pain of it is nothing compared to the psychological pain of it. Because the bully will pretend that was an accident, that you know that it was no accident at all. Because you'll be very particular to avoid the bully. The harder you try to get away from him, he will make a more determined effort to find you. So you find these accident where he happens to be crushing your toes. Could happen as often as 3 or 4 times in an hour. How is that possible? Well, it's only demonstrating that you cannot hide from him. He will hunt you down. You are totally helpless. That is the psychological wound that he's inflicting. And it is a lot more painful sometimes than the physical crushing of the toes. In his recent posting, Chamisa admitted that Bhodho pamoto, kubika svitsa. No more funny games. Nyika yatambura. So he acknowledges that the country, the people, the ordinary people are suffering. And they are suffering. Zimbabwe is a failed state. I've said this 1,000 times. And it is a failed state. And one of the reasons why we are a failed state is that as much as for the last 25 years, the people of Zimbabwe have risked everything to elect the opposition leaders, people like Chamisa, into positions of power and authority, on the understanding that once in that position, they will implement the necessary democratic reform the nation has been dying for. To end the sanopy of dictatorship. And yet, here we are, 25 years since the formation of MDC, ZANU-PF is still able to blatantly rig elections. And what is worse, ever since the GNU debacle, MDC, Triple C leaders have conned the people to participate in flawed elections to give ZANU-PF legitimacy and perpetuate the dictatorship. These are the funny games that Chamisa is referring to. Funny to him, but not to the millions of ordinary Zimbabweans who are the core face of the political and economic reality of Zimbabwe being a pariah state. We could have ended the ZANU-PF dictatorship years ago, in 2013 at the latest, if MDC, Triple C guys had implemented the democratic reforms. And had not been conning people to participate in flawed elections. Chamisa lied to the people in 2023. He told them that he was going to win those elections because they plugged the vote rigging loopholes. Because God was in it. It was God's plan that he, Chamisa, would win those elections, and he was already forming his new cabinet. What is so annoying here is that soon after the elections, he was admitting that ZANU-PF had rigged those elections. The very thing that he said would not happen. And what is worse, he has been refusing to admit that he had lied to the people, that he had conned them to participate in flawed elections.
Makorokoto Zimbabwe nokuti hakuna munhu anomira kana denga raronga plan. Denga raronga plan, denga harifoiri. Plan yaMwari haifoiri. Ini ndatanga kugadzira cabinet. There is no way we are not going to form a new cabinet. There is no way we are not going to have a celebration. There is no way we are not going to have an inauguration. Let's start preparing for our inauguration. Let's start preparing for our celebration.
The truth of the matter is, Chamisa lied to the people. He was lying. He had not plugged any vote rigging loopholes. Because ZANU-PF went on to blatantly rig those elections. SADC and the AU, election observers, condemned the electoral process, making it abundantly clear that the process was flawed. And yet he is the one who was telling the people that he had plugged the vote rigging loopholes. And he was preparing his cabinet because God's plan does not fail. What the people of Zimbabwe have got to realize here is that Chamisa is a liar and a conman. This is at the heart of our problem. We cannot keep on pretending that Chamisa has done nothing wrong, because we know that is not true. Chamisa is a liar and a conman. And now he's telling us that in the past he was only playing funny games. And now the funny games will stop. Bhodho pamoto kubika svitsa. Of course, we only got his word that he's changed. The reality is he has not changed. Chamisa is preparing the nation to participate in 2028 elections on the basis of the same idiotic lies that the opposition would win rigged elections. The funny games have not stopped. He only wants to tell the people that they have stopped. To help him con them to participate in another flawed election to give ZANU-PF legitimacy. I think the people of Zimbabwe should wake up to the reality that Chamisa is a liar, a conman, corrupt, and incompetent. Those are the sort of qualities that one cannot shed off the same way a snake would shed off his old skin. The funny games, as far as Chamisa is concerned, have not stopped at all. He only tells the people that for the purposes of conning them to do worse things. After 45 years of rigged elections, it is unbelievable that anyone would still want to believe they can win rigged elections. I've said on this platform, and I'll say it again, nations get the government they deserve. We can't say in Zimbabwe that we do not deserve this ZANU-PF dictatorship, complete with its MDC-CCC sidekick. We have been incredibly naive, easily conned again and again to do silly things, idiotic things. We need to open our eyes and our minds to the reality. I repeat, Nelson Chamisa himself admits that he has been playing funny games. He himself admits that there are millions of people living in abject poverty now. And it is because he and his MDC friends have failed to implement the reforms to stop ZANU-PF rigging the elections. He calls that the funny games. But what I can tell you now is that while he's saying no more funny games, the truth of the matter is the funny games will continue. He will continue to con people to participate in flawed elections to perpetuate the dictatorship. We need to wake up. We need to realize who Chamisa is. And after 25 years on the political platform, there really is no excuse for anyone to say they don't know who Chamisa is. They don't know that Chamisa is a liar, a conman, corrupt, and incompetent. Think about it.